Okay, so I've prepped most of my tips. I'm just going in with the last coat on this last tip with Anne, which is in all of your nail mailboxes this month. I've popped a matte top coat on these just because I find that drawing on top of a matte top coat is a lot easier than drawing on shiny. I know there's not one in your box this month, but you can use one if you want. You could also just go in with a lint pad and wipe off. I've just got quite a shade pink on top of the tips that you got in this month's box, and this is your little tip holder that you got in this month's box too. So truly using everything from this month's nail mail box. We've got the two brushes that came in the box, which is the detail and the angular brush from Jade. I'm also going to be using this little brush from a past nail mail box. So if you've got anything kind of fluffy, it's just to dust off glitter. Okay, so we're going to take some of our Persian, make sure I'm in shot, and this is your detail brush by Jade, and we're going to do a nice wavy line with our detail brush, and then we can fill it in. This doesn't have to be uniform, which is the great part about abstract designs. You can pick and choose how you want to do it. Put a thin layer on. As you can see, it's quite good coverage anyway, so that is great. And drag that down to any points you want. The best part with stuff like this is you can move it until you're truly happy. And then we're going to see the magic of the cat eye, which you will have already seen on Jen's video on the tutorial. But when you go towards your nail, it'll move wherever you pop your magnet. So I'm going to put mine in the middle like that, so that when we move it, we get that nice cat eye effect. And then I'm going to pop that in the lamp because we're going to do another one here. But if you do two and then go to cure it, your lines are going to move to the same place. So I'm going to pop that in the lamp for 30 seconds. Okay, so that's cured. You can see it shiny. And then we're going to go in with the other side. So again, doesn't have to be uniform. You can literally do as you please and pop it on again at the other side. You could also use your navy that you got in your box, or you could use your white gel paint to give it a bit of colour. But the other nails I'm going to do on this tutorial are quite detailed, so we're going to keep this one simple. Like I said before, you can move it in any which way you want. There doesn't have to be any set way of doing it. Make sure your coverage is quite even, and then again go in with your magnet in whatever direction you want. So I'm going to go the opposite direction to the first one, and there we go. Now pop that one back in. And there we have it. That's your first design. We started off something easy. Let's get into something a bit more tricky. So while that one's curing, we're going to go in with the next one, which is a navy base. And we're also going to be using our blue. So we're going to pop some blue on our palette. We're going to be using some of the white gel paint that you also got in your box. And decant onto your palette. Again, we don't need a huge amount, so I'm just going to pop some there. And we're going to use the cat eye. So the good thing about these polishes is, by the way, I've put so much on there. The good thing about these polishes is that you can use it as a silver, a true silver, or you can use it as a cat eye. So this one's going to be a tartan one. So I'm going to draw, just make sure I'm in shot. I'm going to draw a straight line down the nail. Now you can do this with a detail brush. It would be a lot easier, I will show you in a minute, with a longer one, which we have featured in past boxes, but it can be done, and I'm going to show you that it can be done with this. My hand is shaking, but you only need the tiniest bit on your brush and guide it down. I'll show you the difference of doing this with a longer brush. So this is the Nails Luxe K brush, which some of you will have because we put this in a nail mailbox last year. So with a longer brush, you can literally pop it at the top and guide the brush the whole way down. But as I said, you can do it with your detail brush. So if you're happy with that, you can go on and cure it if you're not confident that you can get two lines before a cure. If not, turn it over and we're going to do one the other way. Make sure, if you're looking at your brush, I don't know if you can see that, make sure you don't have a blob on the end of your brush. If you keep wiping out like this at the sides, you'll be able to wipe off enough. Okay, and then we're going to go in again, start at the top and drag it across, try and keeping it nice and straight so it's across. Okay, mine goes up a little bit, but you get the gist. The best part about if you've done this line and cured it, if you're not fully happy with that line, you can wipe it off and go again, but I haven't and we're not going again, so I'm gonna have to deal with that line, I'm afraid. Okay, once you're happy, cure. So I'm gonna go over this line again so it pops a little bit more. If you're happy with it a little bit fainter, you can keep it like that. So I'm just going over the same line after curing it. Like I said, make sure you only have a little bit on your brush. The more you have, the thicker that line's gonna get. You don't want it too thick. And you can go in from the middle. Also, if you mess up, you can use your angular brush that you got in the box as a cleanup brush too. I'm just gonna use this one because I've got it right here. And you can touch up any little bits. Okay. So it just pops that little bit more. I'm going to pop that in the lamp for 60 seconds and then we'll go on and put some white on it. Okay, so the silver's cured. We're going to go in with our white. Make sure you've wiped the silver out of your detail brush. And again, we're just going to pick up a little bit of white. So we're going to start at the top and we're going to pull down. Excuse my shaky hands. I've had too much coffee today. Okay, so that's one. Again, you can go in and cure at this point, or if you're feeling brave like me, you can go and do both at the same time. And then you want to do this one parallel again. Quite close together, but not too close. And follow it all the way down. I feel like I need my glasses on. Okay. I'm going to do this side with a detail brush. And I'm going to show you the difference in having a longer brush. So this is, if you see the difference in the length. So I'm going to show you what it would be like with the longer brush. So you coat your brush fully. It's a bit much. So you're following this line straight down. And as you can see, with this style of brush, it just makes it a little bit easier. You can go the whole way down without stopping. Whereas with this one, you're doing this bit, then you're going again, then you're going again. Pop a little bit more product in your brush and make sure your line thickness is consistent all the way down. As you can see, that one's just a bit of a straighter line. They look a bit wishy-washy, but we move. And then again, you want the same kind of distance between, and you're following it parallel all the way down. Don't worry too much about these lines. We're going across again, and the more lines you have, I feel like they're not as noticeable. You can touch up where you need to, and then we're going to go in and cure. Okay, I'm going to go back to the detail brush because the whole point of this video is to show you looks you can create with your Nail Mill products. Okay, so we're going to go this way now and we're going to follow that centre line again and try and keep it as central as possible. So start at the top, again, a small amount of product in your brush. Try and keep this distance here the same. This is the difference with the shorter brush. You have to keep going back into your product and starting over. Yep. Okay. And then again, you're keeping these, you want these as close as these ones. Okay. And then again, you're gonna turn and do the same at this end. Try and keep your distances the same. Try and keep your line as straight as possible. Try and use the very tip of your brush and keep your product in the body. And then your final one, again, you can cure at any point to stay safe. Try and keep this distance and this distance the same. That's it. And then cure when you're ready. Because of the length of this nail, I'm going to go in and put another silver line here. Obviously, most natural nails, you won't be able to fit this many lines on, but just to make it look finished, I'm going to go in with another silver line to finish off the recurring pattern. And make it shiny, shiny. So I've gotten a little bit more complex with that one. A cute little tartan design. And while that's curing, we'll move on to the next one. Another navy one. And we're going to do a sugaring effect. Okay, so you can either, for this, you can either use a base coat of your choice, or you can use the white that's in your box. And I'm going to use the white because I'm using products that came in your nail mail box. So I'm going to use the white and then I'm going to use the glitter. There's 3 different shades of glitter featured in this month's nail mail box. So I have got the purpley blue shade. There is a green and there is a silver too. If you feel like your green or your silver doesn't go with the navy, you could also do this on a plainer base. So I'm going to go in with my white and I'm going to pop down the middle. So we're using lines again. Again, keep your product really thin on your brush. We're going to do little lines parallel again like this. Now you want to make sure you've got enough product there for the glitter to stick to. So you want your lines thin, but you want a good amount of product so that the glitter has something to stick to. Okay, and then we're going to leave a little gap and we're going to go again. Again, you want a good amount of product. Try and keep the length of the lines similar. And also try and keep these gaps the same width as well. Got too much product on my brush there. If you ever feel like you've got too much, go back in and wipe off. Okay, once I've got this, you're keeping your product wet, don't cure it, and you're joining this to this, just like this. You want to make that line as fluid as possible so it flows into the next, okay? And then we're going down again and we're doing the same. Don't have too much product on your brush because you've already got product here and here. So you only need a little bit of product, drag through there, bend it round and onto that one. You can't go back in with this after because it's all wet product. So take your time. You just want them to flow into each other like this. And let them all flow into each other. Okay. Okay, at this point, we're going to go in with our glitter and cure so that if any other mistakes are made, we can wipe them off. I actually really like it just as white and navy like that, but we're going to make it sugaring. So we're going to get our glitter, whatever shade you've got, and tip it onto the nail, trying my very best to keep it quite contained. And when you've covered all your white, tap it off into the lid. Okay, and then we're going to cure that for 60 seconds, just like that. Okay, once that's come out, you can brush your glitter off using any sort of dust brush. I've just got an old nail mail brush. It does make a mess, but look how amazing that looks. It's so effective. Okay, we're not finished there. Obviously, you can stop at any time. If you're quite happy with that the way it is, you can leave it like that, but that would be boring, wouldn't it? So we're going to go in with small lines. So I'm taking some more white paint on my detail brush and I'm going to make a parallel line down here. Again, you want enough product. Again, you want enough product for the glitter to stick to the detail paint, but you don't want your line too thick. I find the best way to do that is go in with a little bit, and if you feel like you need more, you can add rather than going in too thick. But the good thing about this is now, if you messed up here, you could wipe it off because this part is cured. Okay. Try and make that as even as possible. I know I've got a little bit more product there than I do in the middle, so I'm going to try and even it out. That's better. Okay, you can either now go in and cure, put your glitter on and cure, or you can do the other side, which I'm going to do. Start at the top. So this is on a matte base, but you can actually do this on a shiny base too. Okay. Again, try and just even it out so it's all the same width. And there's enough. And making sure there's enough product for the glitter to stick to. And when you're happy with that, we're going to do the same again. Get your glitter, tip it on. You don't need it a lot, you just need to cover those lines. Okay, and then pop it back in your lap. That's cured. We're going to take it out. And again, take a fluffy brush and dust off the excess. And I think you will agree that is looking amazing. We're just going to do one more step on this before we finish it. So I'm now going to take my angular brush by Jade, which you got in your box. I'm going to dab the smallest amount on like this. And I'm going to do a downward bit like this. Again, this isn't completely necessary. It's an addition. You can leave it at any point you feel comfortable with, but it just gives it a little bit more texture. We want them to match. And then we're going to do it the opposite, and we want those lines to match up. If you did these lines and then thought, no, actually I prefer it without, you could also take them off. Okay. And then once you pop them on, again, you're going to go in with your glitter. Cover that. And that side too. Tap, tap, tap. And pop it in your lamp. Okay, and once you are fully cured, you can dust all the glitter off, which will leave your lovely sugared effect cable knit nail, which is just gorgeous. Let me try and get a bit of light on it. Looks fab. Okay, on to the next one. While we've got the glitter out, we're going to stick with glittery stuff. So we are going to do a pink with a glitter tip. So for this one, you can do it two ways. You can do it the way we just did it and use your white like we did with that, but I'm going to use a base coat. You can use any base coat you've got in your kit already, as we didn't supply one, but I'm pretty sure you've all got a base coat. And we're going to use our detail paint again, so just make sure you've taken any colour off it from the last design. And then we're going to go in with our base coat and paint a French. Now, I know some people use an angled brush to do a French, so you could also use your angled brush, but I am going to use this. And I'm going to start, everyone does their French different. Again, make sure you don't have a huge bead at the beginning. I am going to start down here in the corner and paint it up. Now this can be quite hard because you can't really see where your base coat is. So I feel like it's trial and error. I always start from the corners and work up to the centre. Everyone is different with the way they paint their French. I like to get a guideline and then add two. So I will paint my guideline as so and add two. So pop my base all over where I want the glitter to stick. And then look at your sides. So this has got more of a side than here. So I'm going to go back in this side and add two to make it even. Also look at where your nail ends. That one ends sooner, so I'm going to add a little bit more here. Make sure your base coat's super thin, because when you get the glitter on, you don't want it to create a ridge. So do it super thin. And when you're happy, which I could literally sit here for an hour and touch this up, but when you're happy-ish, is all your base coat is even. That is the most important thing, that your base coat is even, because otherwise you're going to have a lip between your polish and your base coat. Okay, when you're happy with that, pop your glitter on the same way we just did with the sugar in, and by tipping it everywhere, tip it on and just make sure it has coated everywhere. Okay, and pop it in the lamp for 60 seconds and give it a full cure. Okay, when that's cured, you want it again, brush off. Now again, I've done this on a matte top coat because I do find it's easier to draw on it. And that is your glittery tip. And then go in with your top coat. The best way I find of doing this is almost floating your top coat over the glitter. And always have a separate top coat for glitter, or at least fully clean your brush before you pop it back in your top coat, because it will contaminate it. And if you tip your tip upside down, it'll self-level your top coat so it looks even. And once you're happy, if you've got any little specks of glitter like that, you can move it out. And once you're happy with your top coat, pop it in the lamp and fully cure. This is one of my favourite designs to do in the winter months. It's super easy. It looks kind of festive. So you need to go in with your points. You're going to cover this up, so don't worry too much whether they are perfect circles, but you're going to go in with your 3 points and take all your product off your brush and just leave the tiniest amount, because you've already got some in the centre there. And you're going to draw a straight line down with the very tip of your brush, and then again up. Again, like I said in one of the past tutorials, probably using a longer brush would be easier for this if you have one, but if not, this just shows that you can do it with your detailed brush out of your November box. They want to be a little bit shorter than your long ones. And you can cure at any point. I'm just going to go straight in with these ones. And then for this middle one, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And we're going to make it an 8-point star. So out with your sides. Remember to keep taking the product off your brush. And then for these ones, we're going to do these diagonals too, a little bit shorter than your outside ones. And then you can either now cure and go back in with your white, or you can just add little bits here, but just be very careful not to make any mistakes, because then you'd have to take it all off. You could cure here and then go in with a little bit more white, or you can just add it beforehand. Okay, and when you are happy with your lines, pop that one in. Okay, and then for the centre, you can either use a dotting tool for this, or you could use the very end of your brush if you don't have one. So for this middle one, I'm going to use the cat eye. Pop your spot in, and you can just leave it like that. I'm actually not sure what difference it would make if you use the cat eye. I don't think it'd make an awful lot of difference on something as small as that. And then for the other ones, for the other two, I'm going to mix a little bit of my glitter in with the base coat that we used on the last one. And just pop it in and mix it around. You only need the tiniest bit, because it's just for the centre of your stars. So mix that in, and then you want to take a little bead on the edge of your brush and place it in the middle, just in the middle of your star. And the same on this one. Place it in the centre, as big or as little as you want. You could also at this point here grab your dotting tool or your brush and do some little white details, just to add a little bit more to it. Or you could leave it as is. Like I said before, you can add as little or as much as you want to make this design yours. You could also add another little star up there. I'm just going to put some dots. And that one's that. So I'm going to cure it, and then I'm going to pop some top coat on. Okay, and once you've cured, you can go in with your top coat, and I love how this looks shiny. Once you're happy with your top coat, pop it in and fully cure for 60 seconds. And there we have 5 designs you can create with this month's Nail Mail box, using all the products and accessories you've got in this month's box. I think the cable on it has to be my favourite, but please let me know down below which you like, and if you've done any of these designs, please pop them on Instagram and tag us.